ago, I was asked to come today to talk about compassion for the Walk for the Hungry, and spend about 5 minutes doing it. Compassion is at the very heart and core of Buddhist practice and the Buddhist teachings. And I thought I would start out with a word comparison. In the Tibetan language, do means a stone or a rock. And Jay is a noble quality, or royal is a name given for royalty, is Jay. Dorje is the name they use for a diamond. So as a stone is to a diamond, in Tibetan the word for heart is tuk. And the word for compassion is tukje, the same J as in Dorje. The heart, the noble heart, the royal heart in Tibetan Buddhism is the practice of compassion. When we practice compassion, I've heard that it's said that, I've heard the teaching that when we recognize suffering, we recognize need, and we take action, and we have the desire to relieve that suffering. We take action to relieve that suffering. Those are practice of compassion. So I've heard it said that there are two kinds of compassion. Compassion with bias and compassion without bias. So I know, like Dr. Kumsai is my friend. Oh, I'll help my friend. Or I have my child. I love my child. I'll always help my child. Well, that person over there, I don't know them. Or maybe they haven't taken a bath for a while and they smell bad. I don't want to help them. That kind of compassion, it's good to help your friends. It's good to help your children and the people you love. But that can be compassion with bias. But in the world, as we learned from the very beginning of our talk today, that all things are impermanent. All phenomenal existence is impermanent. And it only has the appearance because of causes and conditions that have come together. And so it's the same with the self. This I, me, myself, this great Andy that I think of, is an assumption that there is this concrete self. But in fact, it only is here for just a very short time. And it's only because of all the causes and conditions in the past that have brought it about. And so in reality, there is no difference between self and other. And so we can practice compassion towards all beings, no matter what. That's a compassion without bias. And that's the practice that I believe that Buddha wants us to practice. My wife told me I should use a Jakata tail, and I couldn't find a good Jakata tail to use today. But I thought I would talk about, in a time before the Siddhartha lifetime, when he was a bodhisattva, there's a place called Namo Buddha, just outside of Kathmandu. And the Buddha was a bodhisattva at the time, in the lifetime before he became the Buddha. He came across a mother tiger, and the mother tiger was starving, but she had baby tigers. She had the little kittens, and she couldn't provide for the kittens because of her own body was starving. And so the Buddha could have run away, but then she would continue to starve. He had several choices to make, but the choice he took, and the only thing that he could do, was to feed the mother tiger from pieces of his own body. He gave to the mother tiger to provide nourishment for her. And then in the very next lifetime, the Buddha became the Siddhartha, who taught us the right way. So I'm not saying that we have to cut off pieces of our body to feed to others. Every scrap of food, or every act that we can do to help someone who's hungry, is good for them. It's just doing it not to make ourselves feel better. It will make ourselves feel better, but it's not the reason. The reason is because they're hungry. And we plant the seed of compassion in their heart that can flourish and go on And they can learn from that, and maybe that seed will flourish within them, and they will start to help others when they can. So I think this is a very, very wonderful thing that we can do here. In order to learn the Dharma, we have to have favorable conditions. One of the favorable conditions is a human life. You have to be born in the era when the Buddha came and when the Dharma has been taught. That's another favorable condition. One of the favorable conditions necessary to learn the Dharma is to have leisure time. Leisure time is necessary, but hunger and starvation will steal leisure time away like a thief. And so, if our intent is to help people by giving them the Dharma, but they're hungry, the hunger has to be satisfied first, I think. So, anyway, I really thank you for all your compassionate thoughts today, and wanting and being generous and giving to help the hunger and help the wonderful, venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi and his organization. Thank you.